No trip to Washington is complete unless we stop and talk to Dr. Oz. Good to see you again, friend.
I am so happy you're here. There's a list of folks that I was going to interview with. I didn't even see you on the list. And then I saw you over there. So, oh my gosh, I get to do Chris Stigall show. What a coup.
Yeah, it feels like now when I come to DC, if I don't have you on, I feel like I've let everybody down.
I'll always be here for you.
They love hearing from you. Were you in the house last night?
I was not. In fact, my security team, they're funny. They said, where are you going to be tonight? I said, I'm at home. Good, because we were asked for designated survivor. So, how many designated survivors do you have? Because I thought
This is really amazing. Even since you and I have talked, the MAHA agenda, man, has just cranked up to a 10. I mean, the food pyramid's been flipped upside down since I saw you last, and that was just a few months ago.
Well, the food pyramid is a good example. The secretary is passionate about this material. Folks won't know this, but I'll share something with you. We have a group text with me and Marty McCary and Jay Bhattacharya, the leadership of different agencies. We get texts at all hours. I got one last night at midnight on some esoteric clinical trial that had been done showing that a food was not good for you. And so there's a debate going on at the wee hours of the morning, which of course only you nerd out on this stuff, but Secretary Kerry really cares about these issues, and he's leading this process behind. I'll give you an example outside of food and the more predictable ways. Within my agency, CMS, we pay for Medicare and Medicaid. We actually pay sometimes for organizations to provide medically necessary food as a treatment for an illness, like if you have diabetes or you're obese. Mm-hmm. Well, historically, you could give whatever food you wanted. We just gave you the money. Now we're saying, no, we want to actually give you food that's good for you based on the food pyramid. If you and I as taxpayers are giving free food to somebody, and this is the same for SNAP, by the way, for folks, 42 million people on SNAP, they should be encouraged, pushed to eat healthier food. It's not that I'm trying to take away soft drinks. I just don't want to pay for soft drinks. If I know they're worsening the diabetes that I'm trying to give you support on, because I've got to then pay to treat the diabetes.
Yes.
So it's a little different if you're off, freewheeling American, living your good life. I'm not going to tell you anything about what you want to eat. I'm just going to give you advice, trying to help you, but your choice. But if I'm paying for you, I think I should get a little involved in whether or not I'm creating more problems with the food I'm selling you than not.
I remember growing up even as a kid, I remember hearing that people who, needed help financially, that's fine. But the idea that they would be buying junk food with taxpayer subsidized monies, it was a difficult thing for people to digest, so to speak. Right?
Well, I like that. I like that play on words.
Yeah.
Boom, boom.
Yeah.
Chris will be here all day, by the way.
But it's like it's sort of offensive to taxpayers, isn't it, to see someone who is needs help, and that's fine, but that they're frankly morbidly obese in some cases, eating junk food on taxpayer money.
There are two reasons that I would point, just to emphasize your point, because it's excellent. The first is we're subsidizing companies making junk food. Yeah. We're literally giving them money from the federal treasury so they can make more junk food. And the second fundamental reality is we have to pay for the complications. The most important thing we do in MAHA is reduce obesity. If we do that, we'll cut our healthcare costs in half. The reason we're twice as expensive to take care of per capita than any European country is because we're twice as fat as any European country. Yeah. And so if we can deal with these underlying healthcare preventive issues, we're going to save us a ton of money.
I know that you do a great deal on social media where you actually do message people just on general health and how people get healthy. What do you say to people about that? I mean, maybe they're not workout crazed, maybe they're not diet fiends, but you say very simple things like get out, walk. I mean, you advocate that kind of thing. It's not...
it's the kind of stuff that your mom would say, but when a doctor says it and then puts a little data behind it, it just gets power. So for example, the walking issue. The difference between walking 10 minutes a day and none at all is massive. And it's much bigger than the difference between walking 10 minutes a day and 2 hours a day. So just get it going a little bit will make a change. And I can give you numbers on that. The Million Woman Study, named after a study on 1 million women, not a very innovative idea, but it does tell the story, was overwhelmingly supportive of any bit of minor activity. And most people don't even do that. They want to walk to the car. The same goes for food. People think it's rocket science to make healthy food. In reality, if you eat food that comes out of the ground looking the way it looks when you eat it, that's all we're talking about, real food.
You've seen some of the, and I don't even know the name of it, but I know some people there's been great consternation about a particular pesticide that a lot of MAHA advocates are upset about. And I think even the secretary addressed it on social media here recently, that it was pretty critical to agriculture. like glyphosate. Thank you. Can you talk about that? Because I've seen a lot of Maha advocates very upset about glyphosate and the president deciding to ride with it.
Oh, the anger by glyphosate is very understandable. It's palpable. A lot of people are frustrated that we're in the situation we're in. But let's just take a step back and understand how we got here.
And the secretary acknowledged it, by the way.
He did. His post on Sunday night was brilliant, and I thought very, very thoughtfully explained why there's an issue here. Like, why would the government be supportive of a toxin that's used to kill weeds if it could be dangerous to humans as well? We're in an addicted situation. We have the entire farming industry being controlled by a belief, but also there's some reality to that belief that you have to use chemicals in order to deal with weeds. If you just suddenly shut it off without any kind of preparation, with any kind of a plan B, using the many other possible techniques of dealing with weeds, you're going to destroy farmers. We're already having a problem keeping people in the farming industry. You're going to dramatically elevates food prices. Nevertheless, if you give the system time, it will adapt. Farmers are incredibly innovative people, as you know, hardworking, salt of the earth, literally individuals. Give them tools, fund those alternatives, and they will take advantage of those opportunities. So the administration is putting $1 billion into regenerative farming, money into research and better ways of killing weeds without hurting people, and also researching exactly what's going on with this pesticide, maybe other alternatives that might be dangerous. So we want to understand more the ecosystem. In the meantime, if you drive the business to stop making the product and you bankrupt the entire farming industry, you got an issue. That's what the president was forced to decide on, and that's what the secretary was defending him for doing. But believe me, when you're putting $1 billion and then figuring out a better way of making healthy food, that shows a commitment.
In the meantime, how do you deal with it in the system?
In the meantime, if you have the ability to buy organic food, then that's great. And if you can't, then more and more you'll see, I mean, it's already starting. The farming industry is moving towards greener ways of making their products. We just need to keep supporting it. And farming doesn't take place in a year or two or three. We need to send a message throughout the farming sector, which has been done now, that this issue with pesticides and herbicides is not going away. We want it addressed, and we're going to invest in the system to make sure that our farming stays strong while we ensure that Americans feel comfortable that they're not being hurt.
There have been two major accomplishments since you and I talked last, in no particular order. There was the massive fraud uncovered in Minneapolis, which I assume is probably more than just Minneapolis, which we can talk about, and prescription drug prices. So you pick. Which one would you like to
I'll
start
start
with?
with fraud because it really animates me. It gets me so upset. We are stealing money, but also the health of our most vulnerable Americans. What happened in Minnesota is reprehensible. They took programs designed to help autistic children, and fraudsters paid moms $1,000 a kid to lie that their children had autism so they could actually give them services that weren't required. It took the budget from $3 million to $400 million. Listen, when your child has autism, there are a lot of challenges you're going to face. If every child in the neighborhood has autism, no one has the care that they require. And so we know now in Minnesota, there was a very haphazard approach to program integrity, to actually preventing fraud. We know that from having visited with their state agencies. They've done a fair amount of homework around the program. We wrote them a letter. We said, give us a corrective action plan. What are you going to do to fix this? Wasn't a serious response. We've seen similar problems in California, where there are more hospice centers in Los Angeles County alone than the rest of the country. It's impossible. And so the people who are trying to do the right thing, patient advocacy groups, legitimate hospice owners, legitimate home health care owners, are saying, come help us. We're drowning in fraud. 6 out of 7 of these entities really aren't legitimately helping people, but they don't charge, doesn't cost you money to give no care. So they make pure profits and roll it into marketing and drive us out of business. Look at South Florida. It's not just a red state issue. South Florida has more durable medical equipment suppliers. They make wheelchairs and canes than McDonald's, 20 times more. And so we know that there are foreign citizens involved. We know there are Cubans involved in South Florida. There are Russian mafia involved in California.
Well, can I bring up a political?
Minnesota.
I mean, I remember in New Jersey, the infamous case of former Senator Menendez and his eye doctor friend. There was tremendous fraud in that case, correct? I don't know if you remember that story.
I remember the story vividly. I think, look, we're a country who shares values. That defines to me what an American is. My father came from Turkey as a doctor. He was recruited to come here, but he immediately adopted American values because they were his values all along. That's why he came here. If people don't share our values and stealing money from the government is the norm, in your country, you might try it here as well. And during COVID, we made it really easy to steal from the government. So we weaponize these processes. We're going to do the weaponization back right at them. We're using AI, technology tools, an aggressive stance. The president last night said he's anointing Vice President Vance as the lead warrior on the battle on fraud. We're taking this seriously. The president is very animated by this problem.
I wanted to ask you about that. I saw that you were talking with the director of OMB, Russ Vogt, who we spoke with a little earlier. AI. I asked him about AI. You just mentioned AI. How critical do you think that becomes in rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse, particularly in a system as big as the one you manage?
AI is the most important tool we're going to use in healthcare in general. It'll help us with fraud, waste, and abuse. It'll also help us deal with legitimate care that's not being given, that should be offered. It's going to help people serve as a coach in their pocket. Imagine a world where instead of you having to call 1-800-Medicare or try to figure out the answer to a question, you have an agentic AI, an AI agent in your phone that knows everything about Stigall, everything about you, and can, if you want it, only if you want it, and it can say, hey, listen, you missed your medication this week, and I know it because you didn't refill it, and I also keep track because I've asked you twice. You didn't exercise. You ate that pastrami sandwich you're not supposed to. Even though you sprinkled a little statin drug on there, it doesn't count. It can start to help you, but more importantly, you can say, hey, listen, why was my bill so high from that hospital visit? Or can you take care of my insurance coverage so I get the best one for me? It deals with a lot of the problems Americans don't deal with well. So AI is going to completely change the face of how we interact with Americans. Chris, think of these numbers. I'm responsible for insuring over 150 million Americans, but I don't really have a good way of talking to you. Think about that. 1 in 2 people listening now, I'm covering them, but I'm not talking to them. What if I could actually engage them wherever they are and give them advice and let them ask me questions, which is what agentic AI would do. I let them answer questions that are important to them without me having to try to force it on them.
You hear from seniors, my folks now, Medicare recipients. I'm not intimately familiar with it yet, but I always hear seniors talk about the confusing complexity of getting involved and enrolled in Medicare. I'll be there someday, I suppose. Is that getting easier, or how do we make it easier?
This is a major focus of ours. We're using enrollment systems that are designed for commercial use. Listen, you're my customer. I work for you, right? I should be making the system easier for you to sign up. And we've done quite the opposite. And I don't want to get people tripped up with asking questions don't matter. I want to know that it's you so I can give you sensitive information about you and then get out of your way. And here's the best part. I want to make it easier for your family to be on the same chat with you. So if you want to see what your parents are doing, it becomes pretty easy for you to say, hey, mom, you're on this medication. You never mentioned it to me. Why is that? And you didn't pick it up. Oh, you can't afford it. Oh, but we can help with that. We've got assistance programs. We've got ways of tracking. But most importantly, let me meet you where you are. I'll give you a stat that's going to blow your mind. We give every American on Medicare a free annual wellness exam. Free. It's yours. Less than half take it.
I know you got to run. Let me ask you back quickly about the prescription drugs, the accomplishment there at TrumpRx. 40 some drugs right now and more to come.
We have 43 drugs right now on TrumpRx.gov. It is a remarkably successful site. It works. We've had millions of unique visitors to it. The whole concept here is that we pay in America until this president 3 times more for the exact same drug than it costs in Europe and other countries, even if it's made in America. And so we've changed that. All these drug companies have willingly come by and signed contracts now. All their drugs are priced at the best price in the world. They're all going to be available on TrumpRx.gov. We're adding drugs weekly. And we also have big plans to make the site one of the most, it should be an influential site to make sure you know transparently what your drug should cost. So again, we don't sell the drugs. It's free. Come to us, learn about what the prices are. Use your knowledge of the true price of a drug to ensure everyone's selling the price that should be right for you.
Doctor, you're a great friend. Thanks for making yourself available to us always.
God bless you, Chris. Stay out of trouble. Take care.